Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to adjusting the mic to another episode of StarCrafting. I'm SSN Incarnum, and you're watching a match between MillStephano and OgsTheSTC, spawning as the red Terran over on the right, and MillStephano spawning as the pink Zerg on the north side of the Shattered Temple. That is this map. It is one of my favorite maps because everyone knows this map like the palm of their hand. It's been around since Brood War, and it's one of those maps that just allows every race to play their best. However, it wasn't always that way. When short distance existed in maps, it was not a balanced map. It was one of the more balanced maps, but still wasn't that balanced. This map provides kind of a combination of short distance with just the right amount of long distance, but it's still extremely short distance for things like this. Look at this, OgsTheSTC building a proxy barracks, but it right away was scouted by MillStephano, and that's some good news for him. He's still taking a stupid early hatchery though. Holy balls, Batman. That's a 15 hatchery. That is no pool in sight yet, and I'm feeling a little nervous for MillStephano here, but this guy is so good. He's just so good right now. MillStephano, I've cast a lot of games with him in them, and they've all been freaking phenomenal. My favorite of all was him versus Millennium Todd, his own clanmate. That made into a pretty scary matchup. It went down to every mineral on the map being mined out. It turned into mass void rays versus infester Broodlord, and it was just hilarious. Anyway, so like I said, this proxy barracks that just happened there spit out one Marine, and I don't think this is gonna do anything. I don't know what the plan was. Despite scouting it, MillStephano didn't really do anything about it, and I think OgsTheSTC was just so sure that the fact that Millennium scouted it was gonna be the end of it. I think he assumed that because it was scouted. Sorry, I'll get this production tab open for you. I think because it was scouted, he thought that he wasn't going to be able to make it work. But MillStephano didn't really react. He's like, you know what, I'm still going to take this 15 hatch. I'm still going to get my pool whenever the fuck I feel like it. And I'm still only going to spit out 4 lings. But he does get this spine crawler. And instead, OgsTheSTC just grabs himself his own little expansion, and he is going for Hellions. There's a reactor on this factory and a tech lab on the barracks, so we are probably going to see some infantry upgrades. With Hellion Marauder is my guess, maybe Reapers, but I'm going to guess Hellion Marauder. That's what I'd like to see, because that's such a powerful combination that people underrate. Oh my god, it's so good. Hellion Marauder Thor, and as expensive as that is, oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, people undervalue Hellions. They don't think they work against charge lots, but with a little bit of micro, they're pretty good. Anyway, this isn't a PvT, so I'm not going to talk about charge lots. I've just seen a lot of thread QQ lately about Hellions not being worth it, but I think that's just reaction to Blizzard and their Heart of the Swarm battle Hellions and all that crap. But anyway, we can see him Blue Flame on the way. Guys, I know that Blizzard was like, you know what, there's no... You know what, never mind. I'm not even going to talk about that. We're going to go back to this game. Forgive me for a little bit of sidetracking, but these 2 Hellions are going to sit outside and camp the entrance of Stephano's base. And this is one thing that really good Zergs do a lot, is getting these evolution chambers and using them for walls. Because they're so cheap, their health goes up so fast, and when they die, they make broodlings, which just adds to your firepower and tanking capabilities. And one SCV comes forward to repair the STC's Hellions. But yes, these evolution chambers, these forward evolution chambers are so good. Just a brilliant thing for Zerg to do. And one Overlord is going to be moved into position to scout for Banshees, because when you see this factory, you know there's very well a starport, and there is in fact a starport, but it will be used for medevacs. So this doubles as a drop scout as well. Blue Flame Hellions dropped into the back of your base. That's no fun for anyone. So definitely Zerg, keep your eye on stuff like that. But we are going to see Marines, not Marauders. What upgrade were they getting in that tech lab? Looks like I will never get to know. But it wasn't Marine shields. and it wasn't Stim, because Stim's just now being created. I think the Tech Lab was just being made, so it could be, oh, I like this! Hellions on the low ground, Marines on the high ground. Hellions cannot be, oh, I really, really like that play. The Hellions can actually fire at the Lings from the low ground and be perfectly safe, while the Marines tank damage that is healable by the medevac. However, the Queens were used to snipe that medevac and put an end to that little fray. Very good control from MillStephano. Good choice to focus that medevac down. Not a lot of players do that. I mean, it's kind of an obvious choice, but not a lot of players do that. Anyway, like I said, I think the Tech Lab was only produced on the barracks so it could be put on a separate building, because the Tech Lab only just now went back onto this barracks. So, we are seeing Stim on the way, more Marines, tanks now, hooray. There's a lot of early pressure from OGS, and that's really paying off. It's really contained the Zerg. The Zerg has surprisingly, you know, we're 10 minutes in the game, he hasn't even really thought about taking a third, and it's actually the Terran player that's taking their third now. And keeping the, not so much the Harvester count low, but keeping the military count low. Stephano has not been able to, I'm going to take a look here. Yeah, is not really much army. There's more mineral value in the Zerg player's army, but I'm going to go to the income tab for a second. Terran is actually staying in this. He's ahead in minerals due to mules and even on gas. So once the Zerg decides to take that third and really start pumping in an army, it will be very easy for OGS to, you know, catch up. We do have Siege Tech on the way. Stim is almost finished. It will be finished by the next time there's an engagement for sure. And he's actually going to go for the gold with this command center, which this is an interesting thing to do. To build this command center here, if it gets scouted, the opposing player doesn't really know where to expect it to go. It could go down here, and then they have to worry about breaking these rocks, etc., and these rocks to flank and all that crap. Or it could go here. And nobody knows until it's there. I mean, even the STC might change his mind halfway through, so it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting thing to do to put that there. It's kind of a mind fucker, a little bit of a boggle. Yeah, so these Lings did break down their own rocks, so it looks like Stephano will be setting himself up for a third. They should probably break these rocks as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You should never be sitting still with your military units. If they're sitting still, they're wasted, right? Do something. Split them up, scout the map, get some map control, break rocks. I don't even care. Just do something with your units. It's so important. And not enough players do that. And see, there we go. Stephano is splitting up his packets of Lings, especially Lings. They're so fast on creep that you can split them up and still get use out of them. I mean, if one of these groups of Lings engages a packet of units, even though they're not all here together, because I mean Lings have strength in numbers, you can pull them back and regroup very quickly. So just the map coverage with Lings is so important. And yeah, they tie down drops pretty nicely. I'm not sure what the purpose of that stim was. Trying to get in here and do a lot of damage to the creep spread really quickly and then get out, I suppose. Yeah, because he doesn't want to get caught on the creep. This is the last thing Terran players want to do, is get caught on the creep when there are potentially banelings or infestors out there. And STC flying around with this medevac ready to drop, but not really doing anything with it. He probably saw all these Lings chilling here. It was like, you know what, never mind. I didn't want any anyway. It's okay, you can keep it. And yeah, so the Lings are going to cross the map. They're going to try and engage these Marines, maybe, sort of, sometimes, I think. And yes, this is a bad spot for OgsTC, and he is not watching, and a lot of those Lings got around those Marines before they even started to fire back. So those were some free kills, and they will get into this Gold Expo, taking out SCVs and mules, and they are just free for the taking. One mule gets out alive, and I think he's going to die. No, he's got some duration left on him, but he's not going to last much longer. Yikes. Yes, mules on the gold. Oh, it makes me cringe when I see it and I'm playing against a Terran. I'm like, yep, that's not good for me. And so it's officially a sign that you have to make them very cost ineffective. So we do have these Zerglings coming down south here to engage our opponent. I don't know why I said our opponent. I don't know who I'm cheering for either. I've kind of been commentating as if I'm cheering for Stephano, haven't I? Anyway, couple of eggs come down just to draw siege tank fire, which is a good play, but you know, our Terran player is not useless. He knows how to focus fire. So guys, keep that in mind. That was actually a really strong play. Just dumping those eggs to soak up siege tank fire. That was so key. It let him get in and out, and now he's doing DPS with the infested Terran. I'm so proud of you. So proud. Oh, they're all dead. Look at the pieces just kind of rolling away. That's so fun. I like that. Anyway, the STC. I don't even know what to call this guy. I don't want to call him OgsTheSTC every time I say his name, but I don't really know what else to call him. I could call him OGS. I could call him the STC. I could call him C-Man. I think I'm going to call him C-Man. Alright. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So C-Man, he's doing his thing. He's getting this Gold Up Expo back up and running. He's also taking his 4th. And I'm surprised he didn't make it in orbital before he flew it over here. In fact, he's not even really watching this. There he goes. There's the orbital. So, yeah, always make it in orbital before you lift it off, guys, because then you really get the use out of that mule while the orbital command is flying to its new destination. Well, whereas if you don't morph it first, you know, all that downtime, you're wasting a lot of time while it's flying around. You're not getting any use out of it, and that's not good for you. So, Lings will start to work away on these rocks, making the back position of that expansion very vulnerable. And we do have a good siege tank count now, although they are naked and the Marines are on the wrong side. A few good pot shots go off by those siege tanks, taking out a few Zerglings. There's a mess there to prove it. And a couple Marines down here defending against Lings, trying to break down these rocks. He wants these rocks here, because that does protect this base quite nicely. And he's got this orbital, and there's no SCV transfer there. He can't transfer SCVs, but he's not making SCVs either. He's not even using the energy there. He finally used the energy on this Gold Expo, I believe. And yeah, I'd like to see him start producing SCVs from here. I don't know why he's not. However, 3 bases, fully saturated. You're looking at around 70 SCVs. You don't really want to produce any more than that because it starts to take away from your army when you're maxed. So maybe that's why he's not producing more. He's just going to wait until his main mine's out and then transfer those over. And that's perfectly fair. Fine, that's good. Anywho, yeah, he's really drawing this out. It's very easy for a Terran player to mine themselves out too fast with mules. You kind of have to learn. If you're playing another race and then you come play Terran, it's like, holy freaking hell, I really should have paced myself, because you have tons of minerals, so you start spending, like overspend, and then you're like, wait a sec, I'm not even being cost effective. And yeah, it's just kind of a weird way to play, but you get used to it. Ultralisks for Stephano. We are seeing, this is an expensive army. I've got to look at the army tab. We've got, it's not even that much more costly than the Terran army, but lots of fungal growth, lots of infested Terran. The Ultralisks are getting right into the middle of things, and right on top of the tanks, we've got Marines firing away the best they can, but the infestors are making life hell, and those infested Terran soaked up so much siege tank fire. Did all the infestors die? I'm not even sure. I'm going to take a look at the army tab. I hope he pulled those out of there. Wrong one. Unit tab. We've got 4 infestors on the map. It looks like a lot of them died. I was looking at that was such a clusterfuck, guys. That was such a clusterfuck. But this is becoming quite the game. We've got Ultralisks, man. Oh, I'm so excited. Guys, start working on your Ultralisk builds now, because when Heart of the Swarm comes along and they can do that burrow charge thing, oh my god, they will be scary-ass mofos. And even now, they're kind of scary, I'm not going to lie, because those siege tanks, they're not getting away. You can see how fast those siege tanks went down, but Marauders chew through Ultralisks pretty fast. That being said, you can spit out Ultralisks so quick. And look at the wall made by the infestors so that the Bio army could not stim run, but for a little while they actually got in front of the Ultralisks there. Ultralisks are so big and bulky, it's so frustrating for a Zerg player when like an Ultralisk can't get through your own ball of units. But this is bad for the Terran player. That's all I have to say. Ling's running in here. Nice tech switch into Lings. I like that a lot because OgsTheSTC went pretty heavy into the Marauder tree to deal with those Ultralisks. The Ultralisk trying to get in so he can save the infestors, but he couldn't get through because both infestors and Ultralisks are quite bulky. And the Ultralisk is... Those Ultralisks are paying for themselves, man. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And a couple of Lings dump in here as well. Unsiege tanks are better than siege tanks against Ultras, that's for sure. Especially with the mobility, if you can stim run with. And we're always seeing the the STC, GG out of this. This was quite the offensive by MillStephano, pouring so much into this attack. Very nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. It was just like a continuous onslaught of units. That's what you got to do at Zerg, man. You really got to just like dump your army in there, trade armies, and then keep maxing. And other races just can't keep up with the macros. So that's how you got to play. So this game, going to the Zerg player, MillStephano, very impressed. Such a solid player. OgsTheSTC, sorry I haven't seen you play much, buddy, but you did good. I really liked your early pressure. Alright guys, I'm MillStephano Carnum. You're watching StarCraft Inc. Remember, clicking on the ads around the video, this supports the show. So go check those ads out. Show YouTube some love and our sponsors some love. Check out what they got to sell. And I'll see you guys next time.